But do you remember the first time you recorded with AMP in the studio here in Rio? Or was it in Sao Paulo, right?
It was in Rio. It was in Rio, recording with Tim. It was with Tim Arena. Yeah. Do you remember with AMP? I just don't remember with the album, But usually the first really good equipment was in the studio of RCA Victor, where they renovated the studio, which is there, where the technician studio is today, comp of the technicians. Then they bought a bunch of Fenders, bought guitars, Rick and Make, 12 strings, damn, Gibson 335, Strat, they had everything. And they had the amps, Fender, right? It was the first time I recorded, which was the album which later became the Rational album.
And there, do you already feel a leap in the guitar sound?
It was much better. Recording with an amp is something I also like to record directly. But when there's good recording equipment, good, right? Yeah. And sometimes recording with an amplifier doesn't turn out so great because sometimes it's not mic'd. Well, yeah, there's that positioning. The guys don't know how to position it. But the first time I recorded well with an amp was there in that studio of the thing of,
Yeah, because
which is now the company of the technicians.
today people record a lot directly. I, for example, record directly. I'm using the Nano Cortex from Quad Cortex. Have you heard of it?
Oh, yes. I've heard of it, never used it though.
So like today, people have access to all these amp simulations, not just simulations, but the impulse response, which is a revolutionary technology, right? But you were saying that you enjoyed playing directly because playing directly with this technology.
I played until today.
But you record.
What do you want? I said, well, you can plug it into the mixer.
Okay, but what do you want on the mixer to get your sound?
Well, then
Tell me.
What I want on the mixer is more bass, more treble, more.
Any specific preamp you like to use?
No. I don't understand much about this technology of. I get it. When the sound is. There's a way. Man, that's it, But like the amp. Which one I got interested, I go with playing and the technician has to know. Usually you have your favorite technicians, right? It has improved a lot. It's really good for guitar sounds in current recordings. It is.
Yeah.
But also because of the musicians, right? That's right.
And it also starts to demand more from the technicians. That's how it is. Many people have passed. Already from the 70s, 80s here, I think it's cool that you experienced that moment, which was the golden age of the record labels. But it was also a time, I think, of a lot of change in terms of the technicians.
Exactly.
Because it was a gap.
It was another generation of technicians.
I think it was a gap.
It was a gap from the 70s, 50s. It was already an older crowd who were used to a different sound. There were even some good sounds in those times, the 60s. The other day I was listening to an old record which had a guitar solo. I said, wow, it sounds like American jazz.
Do you know who was on guitar?
No. I remember it was a Sergio Murillo record. It had a guitar solo. I said, what's this, man? How did the guy record with this jazz sound? Kind of like Wes Montgomery.
Sound.
Full-bodied sound.
Cool. Is because what I wanted to say is that there was still at that time a gap between the sound here in Brazil and the sound of the foreigners. And you yourself were talking. There was, in a way, a reluctance from the people who were technical to want to achieve that guitar sound, and there was no way I could get there.
Man, look, I wanted to hear that. I wanted the guitar to sound like that, but it wasn't there, I wanted to hear Harry Clapton, man, Porno Cream, recording Stranger. And it was Inter and Lira, Lira, Lira. Good talk. Man, I wanted the sound here, but it doesn't come out creamy right there.
because they are cold in line, right?
Yes, because they are cold in line.
One thing is to suffer in line. So basically, it's the things played there with Tim. A lot of things in line. You still didn't, you said you didn't have access to choruses, those.
No. The first chorus, Mathieu, when I got access to choruses, was when I started playing with Marina Lima. That's when the boss started. The boss pedal started to appear. And I even bought a pedal board. Do you remember that pedal board? Gray plastic like that.
From Boss.
From Boss.
What's the model? Remember? Is it GT something?
It was a pedal board. GT, I don't know what part of it. It had a little handle. You opened it and it had everything. It even had the pedal for you to connect.
No, but were they individual pedals?
They were individual pedals on a pedal board. And it's not like you feel it with the pedal. We wanted, that's when I bought Flandia. I bought the chorus. That first little blue one wasn't even a super chorus. It was a vocal chorus. Damn, then I would play with that and it was really good. Right. Excellent. And then the pedal board started to appear, right? That giant thing, then you filled it with everything. And actually, I always liked using the MXRs. I love this pedal. So my bass is the MXR on the comp, that little red one. A turbo overdrive. And 1.0. That's what I use, Sometimes to have one, I have everything there. There's a compressor, not the compressor. I use that little red one, the very first pedal in the. Then I use it in a way that was for everything like that. I use the compressor. I go out through an amplifier. I need to pass through everything. Goes through the compressor and goes to the amplifier. I use it. On the right, the Mo classroom kisek that I step on with my right foot. So here, the distortion in the middle and the compressor at the end, And when I use a delay that sometimes sounds good, right? To make it a bit wet or a little low repetition, I don't know. I use it right after the wah, before the distortion. Got it. So in your current setup.
Is there a delay there?
Yes. Which delay do you have? Wow.
For the voice too?
For the voice, that little white one, kind of silvery,
So today your setup is like this.
Yeah, but I have others. Damn, I like to use the hammer from Marshall. There's that damn. I have 2 envelopes that I love, depending on the situation. There's an envelope. I was telling Sydney, there's a black envelope from MXR, which is amazing, man. It depends on the type of work because I use the wow a lot, so I don't need to keep using although this pedal in this work, Superfly, I'm going to have to start using it because soul music has a lot of envelope stuff, right? So I'm going to use it. And there are the choruses. The first pedal before the choruses, there was the phaser, right? So there was a phase, the first phase I ever saw in my life. Very cool, but I don't remember the brand, a little black one. Then also, no, not there. Later, I bought the MXR, which has the 90, and there's the 100. Okay, I love the 100 too. So that's it. Everything stays there stored, waiting for the opportunity to appear on the scene, right? That's the way it is. But the bass is this. That's what I told you, the show. My songs that are on these records, the shows I do are based on this. Then, always with the applicator that you play, clean, right? Clean, as I say, is with, I like to use the Dana Comp, that little red one from Boss by MXR. Because it has a sustain, it's a compressor sustain and it's a booster, right? It gives volume, it gives gain, so I love using it. its gain. Sometimes I said, if there's nothing, if the world ends and there's an island, I don't know what there might be. This pedal
already saves, and always with an amplifier.
You never use those simulations? No. Always with an amplifier. Live live. Right. Many times I record directly